Can I introduce Gail, Steve and Ronnie to talk about this new amazing book due to come out at some point in the future.
Hello, thank you for having us. I'm Gail. I don't know many of you, and I don't think many of you know me. I'm a bit of a newcomer, so here we go. I'm here today with Rory and Stephen to talk to you about the forthcoming Photographic Guide to Flies of Britain and Ireland, published by Nature Bureau and Publishing. Peter Creed isn't with us today. He sends his apologies. That's a shame because this really is his baby, and I'll tell you why. You could say it's a happy accident. I was at the Amateur Entomologists Society Day at Kempton in 2022, where because Erica had put a call out for help at the Dipterist Forum stand, and I volunteered. So there I was with the wonderful human that is Chris Raper. I'd just published a photographic guide to garden insects of Britain and Ireland, and I was looking for another potential project. And Peter was there with his Nature Bureau stand. I don't normally do this because I'm generally terrified of interacting with humans, but I approached Peter for a chat with the aim of getting him interested in the kind of book that I envisaged would be a bridge between my beginner's guide and the Brock Bible, as I refer to it, Paul Brock's incredible Insects of Britain photographic guide that's also published by Nature Bureau. Peter chatted enthusiastically with me, but he started to talk about wanting to produce a book on flies in the same style as the Brock Guide. And at some point, it dawned on me that we were possibly having one conversation about two different books. And in my conflation, had inadvertently expressed interest in writing a fly book, but we left it at that. And I think it was almost a year later, an email arrived from Peter out of the blue asking if I was still interested in doing the book. And again, I just thought, this isn't my book to write. I'm a fly newcomer. This is an expert's project, surely. But then I thought, I really need somebody to write this book because I need this book. Because I'm not great at flies and I need to learn a lot more. And it was going to be in the same format as the Brock Insect Guide, and that really piqued my interest. So I said yes. And I know, I'm sorry, this is not how I should be explaining the birth of this book at the Dipterist Forum to a load of fly experts, so I apologise. But this book is much needed from my perspective. As a willful amateur, as Sean Bennell would say, I'm a really big fan of the format and scope of Nature Bureau books and Brock's Guide. And a fly book in the same concept and design was something I knew would be hugely popular to a wide range of insect enthusiasts and beginners. And even more so as flies become ever more mainstream, thanks largely to the incredible PR work that Erica is doing on them. I knew I couldn't do this project on my own, as you may well realise. The first person I thought of was Rory. I knew we'd work well together. We're working on another project at the moment. He's an outstanding ecologist, entomologist and communicator. His ability to disseminate complicated information, brackets to me, in a knowledgeable yet accessible way was going to be key to the book's success. Rory wrote the fantastic introduction, which really opens up the world of flies beautifully, I think. Stephen was something of a coup. We realised early on that having an authority figure on board would be great for everyone, the book, us and the wider Diptera community. The trust we have in his work ethos and his passion for popularising insects to new audience has been an enormous asset. So we're lucky that Stephen agreed to come on board with his, decades of experience in producing books, writing keys, observing fly behaviour and
21.
his excellent photographs. It's been a big, long job and it's not over yet. We're sorry, it's coming. We've not slept much and we've gone down rabbit holes we didn't know existed. I've learned more new words in the last 2 years of my life than I learned in the first 2 years of my life. I still don't know what an acrosticle is, but we can talk about that later. We'll probably all need laser eye surgery from the amount of proofreading we're doing, but I think all the hard work and late nights are worth it, and we hope you will too. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Rory and Stephen for joining me on this wonderful roller coaster and bringing flies to life so beautifully. Peter for trusting me with getting his dream project off the ground, and it is his dream project. He's been wanting to do this for years. Erica, for your constant support and wonderful foreword, and to all the county national recorders and experts who provided photographs, advised us and checked things through for us. We really appreciate your invaluable input. And we haven't quite finished that yet. So there's probably people in this room and over the country who are still yet to hear from us. But thank you very much to you all. And I'll now pass over to Rory.
Hello everyone, I'll just add a little bit of the writing experience after Gail's going with you, which is very nice, thank you Gail. So when Gail asked me to join the team on this book, I also balked at the prospect. A few of my flyers I've been interested in invertebrates, and I'm interested in pollinators and pollinator ecology as well, and really bigging up the roles of things besides bees and besides the butterflies and moths that people talk about as well. And I really saw the need for an accessible guide to flies for most people, as flies tend to be very denigrated. And I think part of the reason that's they're so inaccessible, people don't have a lovely book to take out with them in the field. So hopefully this is going to fill that niche. And yes, also it's that I myself, in my own experience, when I find something interesting in the field, I sit down and go, well, how am I going to identify this? And there's very, very little beyond technical keys, which require poring over a microscope at the moment. And otherwise, I'll be spamming the Facebook groups that a lot of you really, lovely people dedicate your time to, helping lots of amateurs to learn about flies on there. So we're onto this book myself, much as Gail did, as a go-to guide that I could take in the field as well. Gail had done some really brilliant work collating the species list. We have 1,000, well, am I scooping you, Theo? 1,287 species included in the book, and representing every family as well. So Gail had collated this spreadsheet of all the species, and we both set to work on different fly families. For my sins, I decided to take on the computer mouse and the lower diptera. Try the arrows, there we go. For my sins, I decided to take on the lower diptera because all these little midgie groups are families that barely get mentioned in most ID guides. Even Paul Brock's book has sort of a couple of pages on lower diptera besides the crane flies. And I'm really pleased that together with Peter, who was putting the spreads together as we wrote them, we produced some really quite pretty double page spreads for some of the less appreciated groups like chironomids here. We also did a mosquito spread, picking up mosquitoes, because a lot of them you can have some inkling in the field of what they are. I find them very interesting. And I did push for, put my foot down and push for a double page spread on moth flies, just because they're so cute. And I think they'd really help people, engage people with flies and see the vast diversity of forms that diptera have as well. So this was a difficult process because, of course, these are groups that aren't so much featured in books. There's scattering of them on sites like NatureSpot. So I was pouring through the keys trying to find species that would be suitable for a guide like this. And simultaneously, Gail was pouring over the gall midges. So we have some gall images in here as well, which make for really nice spreads. And she was also doing the soldier flies, which make for really gorgeous spreads. So as we were writing these up, Peter from Nature was putting them together. We could see it taking shape, which was fantastic. And in this, Stephen has been absolutely integral to the book, and his contribution has been tremendous. We're really, really pleased to have him on board. So with that, I'll introduce you, Stephen.
Something I want to say is just really to acknowledge these two for getting the project started, because this isn't a project that automatically would have happened without their vision and their determination, and the fact that they discussed it with Peter. You can't underscore the importance of just getting this project started, having the vision, and I'm very grateful for that. Also, thank you for what's up. Hello.
Hi.
Just to say thank you for putting up with my control freakism, because I do push very hard, and I can be a bit overcritical at times, and I'm very aware of that. But the one thing is that we have an absolute passion for building bridges and breaking down barriers, and popularising these groups. And we're very lucky that we're working with Peter, because Peter's books have got a particular style that I think is unrivaled. There's no other publisher that doesn't, I think, quite like this. There are other good publishers, you know, Wild Guides are great, but this is a particular Peter approach that just lends itself so beautifully to what we're doing. Okay, so I was just going to whiz through some plates, just trying to explain. Oh, why is that not working? I'm pressing the thing and it's not working. You're going to try that option? Oh, it's on strike. On strike. Where's the
Okay.
Oh, have you done it? Oh, has that worked? Oh, there we go. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So just to say, I'm going through a few plates. It's worth saying every family of British flies is covered, even Cryptochaetidae, which is like a new one and just one species. Every single fly gets covered. Every family is covered in the references and bibliography. So you'll be able to. We can't cover everything. We're not intending to cover everything, but it is a bridge, because you can go to the bibliography and you can find the key identification literature, whether it's hard published or online, that will tell you the next step to go to for that group of insects. So that's good. Yeah, so some of the family introductions are quite short. So every family has an introduction. In some instances they're quite short. In other instances, which one is it? That one. Left click. Left click.
No, you between the screens.
Oh. Oh, right.
You give me a nod.
Yeah, you're nod. So have a look at these wonderful pictures as we go through. Some like the Loncaids have had a sort of light treatment. You know, some of them don't lend themselves to lots and lots of pages because they all look very similar. It doesn't matter, because it's just a stepping stone to more detailed resources. So you're not left high and dry. But oh, look at the beauty of those. Parasite fly. Yeah, some of the families get a whole spread as an introduction. That's the tachinids. And you can see it lends itself to a very nice sort of introductory spread. And those are the muscids. It's great that Peter is particularly enthusiastic about his clipturates. He loves his tachinids as well, so that's been good. So that's really the start. And then I think we cover something like 80 species of muscid, 80 species of tachinid. So quite a good coverage, sort of most genera and all the most familiar species. Next one. That's so for each page, we generally cover about 6 or 9 species per page. It varies a little bit depending on circumstances, but we often include similar species. So if you look under Chrysotopsum verili, we've got a little entry there for Chrysotopsum octomaculatum. We couldn't do that for every species, but where we can fit in an extra one, we will do. We might be able to fit in an extra. We might be able to get a third image there of octomaculatum. We're still doing the final negotiations, and if we can squeeze extra ones in, we will. So that's the stage we're at. So it's not none of this is in tablets of stone, but it's very. I mean, look at that. At the top, you've got the 2 forms of elegans, and then the dark one that's very similar to festivum. What a feast for the eyes! Yeah. Okay. These are what the species accounts look like. So you get a general description with wing length, sometimes body length, depending on the family. You get the habitat, the distribution, the season. If it's parasitic, the hosts. If it's phytophagous, often the food plant. So that's how they're laid out. Obviously, they're very, very punchy and short, but they just give you a flavour of what's going on. And then the maps, which are taken mainly from MBN, and they're not designed to be definitive, because you know how difficult it is. But people are told, yeah, if you want to see it, go to iRecord, go to MBN if you want to see the latest distribution.
If anyone's noticed discrepancies, these are all draft maps. But
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, if they're in red, they're still drafts. Yeah, well, thanks, Rory. It's worth saying that this is one of the tachinid pages. We have got photos of some incredibly rare things. Look at that, Lithophasia hyalinipenis from Simon Knott. Is Simon here, by the way? No. Oh, okay, Simon Knott. Cylindromya bicola, which turned up in Raynham recently. Look at that beast. That's an incredible beast. Cylindromya auriceps, only known from one British site. That was actually from the Channel Islands, but it's some really unusual stuff. When we're really excited about some of the wow species that we've managed to cover. What else have we got? Why did I include that one? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so often as well as the pictures of the flies, we might include key sites. In this instance, we've got a photo of a toad that's been infested with Lucilia bifonivora. It seems, am I allowed to use the word infested? What's the word? What's the? Occupied, yeah, occupied. Yeah, that's right.
Easily occupied.
Occupied. But yeah,
No pests.
but Olga, look at that plate. Is that a good plate, Olga? It's good. It's really quite inspiring, yeah. And yeah, we've had a lot of fun choosing the pictures, and it's worth saying that we've used a lot of photographers, and we're very grateful. I just did a quick credit at the end, but some families, it's worth saying, some families we've struggled to get enough species as reliable photos. 2 minutes. Fanny D, we struggled. Next one. There in the California, I wanted every species of Califora. We just did. Obviously, we have a maximum page count, right? And yeah, we just have to compromise. That's that's part of the references section. So every family gets covered, and we're going to color code it. If it's a ResearchGate paper, it will be in blue. So it covers online resources, and it also references to all the Facebook groups, and recording. I think there's a symbol if it's got a recording scheme. So it's going to be a very powerful bibliography. That's the glossary, which we're still working on. One of the hardest, actually, the first draft is easy. It's the consistency checking of terminology. It takes forever. It's really, but we get in there.
Yeah, especially wing venation.
Something plurals.
Essentials. Hotels. Right. Next one. We're nearly at the end. So a beautifully illustrated celebration of British and Irish literature to enthuse general naturalists, helping the world to notice and appreciate them. A directory to other literature, other resources, the Facebook groups, the recording schemes, so that people will get more people recording them critically and accurately. Encouraging membership of DIPTRA's forum, and just, attending field meetings. Can you cope with 200 people at a field meeting? And I think finally is some credits. Really, yeah, so a big thank you. We've had lots of technical support from various people, some of which I've probably forgotten about, but those are some of the technical support. Photos from a massive range of sources. Some of them only know as initials, and I've yet to work out who they actually are. Peter Creed for just incredible patience. Erica for doing the forward and just being a good ambassador for the project. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Questions?
I have a question. For the groups where they have loads and loads of species, how did you go about triaging it so it could fit into the book?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry. You've got the mic. Just repeat it so people online can hear.
Yeah, it's about how do we select the species, knowing that we can't include everything. So how did we select them?
There were a few conversations, weren't there? So it would be availability of photographs. Peter was very keen that we had live field specimen photographs. He didn't want to go down the route of using pin specimens just because he wanted to give it a really good contextual look. So often it was based on available photographs. So
making sure they were accurate as well.
Yeah.
Anything else? We're also really lucky in it being published by HBU that we could. Paul Bott gave us his blessing to use his photographs from his insect guide as well. So we had a lot of them to draw on already. And it was also down to us to pick out species that were distinctive enough to be worthy of a field guide too.
Yeah, choosing things with good storylines. Some flies have brilliant storylines that stand out, and you want to include those. A range of genera, making sure all the common familiar stuff's included.
Good ecologies.
Yeah, good ecologies, and sometimes just rare things just to show off.
Get it quick.
Is there a way of tagging each of the species in terms of its ease of identification? Because I remember when Chinnery was brought out, we suddenly got all these records for things that there was no way they were there.
Yeah, like Nature Spot does, where I know this, and we haven't done that.
Repeat the question.
Oh yes, so it's about whether we can tag the species as to ease of identification. We haven't. I think it would get too complicated. It becomes a little bit subjective. I think what we've said, certainly in the introduction, we've said, some of these are very difficult and you'll need to dissect them. But I know what you mean, and I'm not sure.
Perhaps it's an issue for the recording schemes to flag those up, to actually be careful about things that are coming through. Otherwise, with photography, you will get a lot of misidentification.
Well, what we
we
did
were
in
very
the
wary of.
Fly Wild Guide was simply use icons. So there's an eye, a magnifying glass and a microscope. Just like a small icon in.
We had that
Yeah,
conversation early
we're
on.
very wary of not generating misidentifications through the book. So wherever possible, we've included similar species in the profiles. If not, there's genus introductions, there's family introductions, or almost every family where we talk about how difficult it can be. That's it.
Boys, once he gets back on the mic, I'm like, oh, I lost it. Please, obviously these three are around, please hassle them afterwards, talk to them, because we have other people to listen to. Lovely, thank you. Thank you.